This is Lucky Jack Racing, and currently we're inside a trailer sitting outside Rosemont, Illinois. This is MCACN 2025. We have the green C10 here, back for the Youth Invitational to show the future generations what we can do. Here she is in the truck, and as you can tell, it's kind of a small fit area. So, got to embrace my inner Bo Duke and just climb in through the window.
Watch that mirror when you swing your foot in.
We may not get the towel. Oh yeah, smooth.
That went pretty well.
It did.
I'm gonna kill the camera because I need to guide you out.
Yeah, thank you.
For those of you watching at home, you can see there's not much room and the edge of that bumper sticks out. It's about 1/8 of an inch clearance on each side, so this is gonna be fun.
Alrighty, we're here. We're unloaded out of the trailer. We got the old C10 sitting out here in Chicago. I will say this is the first time the truck's left the state in 35 years, I think. And you know what? It feels great to be out here. It's a little cold, but I got heat. So I'm gonna go drive the old girl to the staging lot so she can get checked in and we can go. So I'm gonna resume filming in there. But yeah, it feels great to be in Chicago. Alrighty, so we have entered the show. We are inside the show. We are sitting here waiting on them to kind of tell me where to go.
Is this future generation?
Yes, sir, it is. But what? Okay, apparently I get to go now. So I've been kind of sitting in limbo, but apparently there's another truck or something like that that I get to park with. So I'm not really sure where I'm going, but hey, you know what? That's the part of the adventure for Lucky Jack Racing. So sitting here in old Envy, and I'm getting ready to get my marching orders, but yeah, look at that. We're here. Stole us a 68 Dodge Charger. I work for MCACN now, moving stuff. Okay, so currently in the road in Chicago, just kind of chilling right now, having some fun. Got my buddy Dylan in his C10 in front of us. Got Christoph over there in the Challenger, or no, excuse me, the Chrysler 300. So you know, we're just trying to get lined up. It is currently like 9:15 at night in Chicago, and we're all tired. We're just ready to go to bed. You know, I ain't slept much since, you know, driving through. But you know what? We're getting it all fixed here in a second, and it's going to be great. So yeah, just having some fun out here.
And welcome to the 4 o'clock seminar and presentation stage. My name is Matt Avery. I am one of the on-air personalities with Mecum Auctions, and I'm so thrilled to be hosting this Meet the Future panel once again. I've done this the last couple years, and it's thrilling to see where this collector car and performance vehicle hobby is headed. And I think that this time together is always a good indicator as we're able to kind of connect with the younger generation. I've heard that for many years now in my travels. People always grab me wherever I'm at and they say, Matt, do younger people enjoy these cars, particularly obviously the classics and the performance? Do they enjoy them as much as previous generations? And I can resoundingly say yes, because I have the chance to connect with young people like this that have the same passion that fuels the type of events like the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. So what we'll be doing here for the next 45 minutes together is we'll be chatting with this next generation of enthusiasts. All of them have a connection to either a vehicle or vehicles that are here or at home in progress, or some of them are actually launching their own careers and getting their hands dirty and working on vehicles themselves. So that's what we'll be doing here in our time together. So the first question I want to have each of them answer is just to say their name, and then also what are they a part of? Is it a vehicle? Is it a go-kart? Is it a dirt bike? Let us know, and then we'll find out a little bit more about them.
My name is Gary Thomas. I have the 67 Dodge D100 Mr. Dorm's tribute truck here, and at the house I have a 70 Dodge Super Beat. It was here 2 years ago, but I got hit head on by a motorcycle who went left of center. So hopefully it'll be back for next year. I also just picked up an 88 Dodge W150 on 35s.
My name is Christoph Kozlowski. I have a 1965 Plymouth Barracuda and a Junior Dragster at home, and here with me this weekend I have a 2010 Chrysler 300.
Hey everybody, my name is Jackson Barrett. I got the bright green Chevrolet C10 over there slammed on 20s. I also have a 66 Chevrolet Biscayne, world's only 4-door converted into a 2-door with a big block, and an old 91 Z28 street strip car.
My name is Anthony Stoll, and I got a 70 Impala 4-door here. At home, I got a 78 Malibu, 81 Cutlass Cruiser wagon. So if you want to see the Impala, it looks like the Victory Auto Wreckers car. So.
Hi, my name is John Unwin. I have a 1966 Mustang Coupe, and at home I have a 1958 Edsel Villager wagon.
Hi, my name is Dylan Strand. I have a 72 C10 here today.
Hi, my name is Lance Hegedus. I have a 1970 Challenger TA here, and at home I have a 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner and a 1978 Dodge D150.
I'm Cale Kiefer. I have the 1955 Chevy.
Hey everyone, my name is Brian Myers. I brought with me my 1972 Dodge Challenger, the bright yellow one over there, and then had the chance to bring my first customer build. Right in front of that is a 1969 Fastback Mustang, the bright orange one, Gen 1 Coyote swap, whole 9 yards. Pretty cool to be here.
Hi, my name is Connor Ziola, and I brought the 1981 Mini Corvette.
Hi, my name is Jack Ziola. I brought a 1982 Mini Corvette go-kart, and then at home I am building a 1989 Chevy 1500.
Hi, I'm Sky Westfall. I brought the 1982 Collector's Edition C3.
Hi, I'm Ophelia Baker. This is my sister Ida Baker. We have a 1968 Dodge Charger.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Anderson, and I brought the orange patina 41 Ford truck.
Nice. You know, and every time I ask this question, audience, I am thoroughly shocked at the vintages of vehicles. I think the newest one was a 2010, but and even that's classic for us older folks. That's bordering real close to getting those vintage plates, as much as we don't want to pretend that's happening. But most of these vehicles are the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. So my next question is for the group here is, where did the passion come from for this vintage iron? Where did that develop? Anyone feel free to share your story.
Here, I'll go first. Definitely my passion was inspired from my dad. I always grew up around cars. I remember when I was little, helping my dad with my tiny hands fish out little nuts and bolts from the engine compartment. Feel like you have anything to add? Definitely the tiny hands. Caitlin?
When I was 10, my dad did a cab swap with a 47 Chevy, and I got to watch him do that over 2 weeks, so that's what got me to want to get my own truck.
So, I mean,
we both enjoy being broke.
Yeah, pretty much. But in all seriousness, my grandfather has been a car guy his whole life, and I guess like when I was probably like a baby, he had me in the garage all the time and drug me to car shows and this and that, and then just progressed into me being addicted to buying cars now and being broke all the time. So, but we have fun.
Granddad started for me too. Whenever I was a kid, I rode around in a 67 Chevelle 396 car. My dad over there, he had a 65 Chevy 2 Nova with a 385 stroker he built. I mean, we just always been around those cars. Whenever I was 9, I ended up with that C10 that you guys see there today. So, I mean, it's just something that we've always done, something that's always been around us.
My dad has a restoration business, so I've kind of been around it pretty much my whole life, and pretty much the small hands. That's a big advantage.
So mine started when my dad told me the street racing stories that his dad told him. My grandpa bought a 1970 pink Plymouth Roadrunner new out of Vietnam, and raced that car for a while and told my dad all the stories. My dad grew up, became a little bit of a street racer, is telling me all his stories, took me to great shows like this, and then I got my own car, and that's when I really fell head over heels with cars, was when I finally got my 1965 Cuda.
Just always hanging around with my dad and my grandpa, but especially my dad. He has lots of 69 Super Bs and a 70, and just driving them, going to shows, meeting people, doing swap meets, everything.
Yeah, like many of us here, I'm sure we grew up getting yelled at for not holding the flashlight straight. But no, seriously, I owe a huge thank you to both my parents, which are here today supporting me. But I remember growing up and always seeing this car hidden away in the barn. It ended up being a 73 split bumper Camaro. And as a kid, you don't know what it is. It's covered with wood, tarps over it. And I think the day he finally pulled it out was the day that sealed the deal for me. But learned to drive stick shift on my mom's car. It ended up being another Challenger, a Hellcat. But and then buying my car, tearing it apart, learning that's what I want to do for a living. That's kind of what got me started.
So, when I was younger, I used to live with my grandparents a lot. Wasn't much. They went to a bunch of car shows. I typically went with them. They have their own 2 Corvettes at the moment, which are at home. And so, whenever they buy a new car, they show me. They tell me about all the parts. They've even taught me how to recognize Corvettes. And so, when my grandfather showed me this Corvette that I have now here, I was instantly in love. I couldn't take my eyes away from it. I even cleaned the tires a whole bunch too. So my dad mostly got me into cars. He has a 69 Mustang that we used to show here, and we mostly go to War to Wheels in Kansas City, and we've been taking it to many shows, and we're actually redoing it all right now. So we've been working on it together mostly, and that's what's basically getting me into everything that we've been doing. So
the short answer for me would be it's in my blood. Like, my whole family is into cars, but the 55 Chevy specifically started with when my grandpa saw the movie American Graffiti in theaters. And then in 1975, he and a bunch of his buddies went down to Missouri and bought 2. He bought his for $60, and they flat towed that home with the other one. And they sold the car they drove down with to a junkyard for a door for another car. And then about, I don't know how long ago, but quite a while ago, or like 8 years-ish, is when my dad bought that car from my grandpa. And 7 years ago, we bought mine shortly after, so yeah.
Like most everybody else, my dad got me involved in it. Started when I was a little kid. He would throw me in his car, 1970 Challenger TA that was lime green, to take pictures because he just wanted to get me involved, and he pretty much just drugged me with him wherever he went in that car. And I'll just never forget what really got me into it is we were going to a Father's Day car show. It was like a 2-hour drive, and he pulled up at a stoplight, next to like an 80s Buick and raced a guy, and I'll never forget just being pushed back into that seat. And ever since that, I was like, oh, I like this and I want to keep doing it. So that's why I like TAs and 60s and 70s muscle cars.
A lot of my family has always had, it comes from cars to trucks to having lifted trucks. So I kind of grew a passion on it, and then my uncle, he had a C10 and I always wanted one, so that's why I got mine.
All right, well, as for those in the crowd, you can tell that there's just something special about the cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And even though we're moving past those decades, the appeal continues to kind of transcend space and time for these young people to have no firsthand connection of seeing these cars on the roads outside of already being collector cars, and yet they're still drawn to them. And what my next question I'm wondering is, when you guys go to school, when you're on the sports field and you're telling your peers about your passion project, what do they think? Do they relate, or do they think this is crazy, or do they say, hey, that's pretty cool, tell me more about it?
Well, when I first told my friends that I was coming here, they said, what do you even do at a car show? They were so confused of the purpose of just parking the car there and sitting there. And I told them it's not really about the car show, it's meeting the people and just being around that atmosphere.
Well, luckily I'm homeschooled, so I don't really have to worry about the other stuff. But my friends are all into cars. My best friend's Dylan here, and my other best friend Cameron is in the crowd here. And I mean, we all get it, you know, but their friends that aren't in our little group are always like, whoa, why are you going to a car show? What do you do? Like, you know, so that's just kind of how it is.
I don't know. Where I come from, most of us have old trucks and old cars, so a lot of my high school buddies, you know, they are all lifted trucks, and my bed can fit under their front bumper. But I don't know, most of us, we like to go to car shows. We all cruise around together. But I will say my favorite school story was, it was before my junior year started. I was there for opening house. I just finished my big block in my 66 Biscayne, and I had a buddy, he's like, jump in, you know, let me ride with you. I'm like, okay. I got in there. Well, I didn't know that behind the school, the marching band and our dance team was going to be practicing for the football game the next night. So I have no header, you know, no exhaust on this thing, fire it up, 3/4 race cam, just sitting there, just a chopping. And I just decided, drop it in neutral, just rev her, you know, 5-6 grand and just take off by the dance team. I swear the entire marching band, everybody just stopped and turned and looked. A few months later, that somebody brought it up and they go, we didn't have to ask. We all knew it was going to be you, man. You're the only one who drive a hoopty like that.
Sorry, thank you. Everyone at our school has been really accepting and supportive and like encouraging. Like our high school principal was here today with his daughter, who's like kindergartner, walking around and looking at cars, and they sent us photos of like all of her favorite ones, and of course it was all the metal fleck and everything. So yeah, everybody's been really excited to see how our Charger has progressed and all of the work that we've done on it. It's been really cool.
So when I'm at school, I kind of just spend my entire day in the auto shop, I'm in there as much as I can, hanging out with my auto shop teacher and a couple of little buddies. I got some older friends who graduated by now, and I hang out with them a lot outside of school. I got some people I talk to inside of school that aren't in the cars, and they'll ask me to hang out or do something, and usually I'm either racing that weekend, or I'm at some form of car show, or I'm working on my car, and they always get a little bit mad at me because I can't ever hang out with them. But I mean, I'd rather spend my time in a garage than out just eating ice cream or something, you know. That's kind of really just how I spend my time, is in my auto shop. And I don't really play sports or anything like that.
So most of my friends at high school, they all have like newer trucks, but they still love older cars and stuff. But most of the time they just race around the parking lot, and most of the time they just do burnouts in the parking lot. They don't really care. But I mean, it's pretty cool that I have some friends that like the same stuff that I do.
At my school, obviously not everyone's going to appreciate cars, but a lot of people do. It might not be muscle cars, but rather it's, I don't know, imports or new Hellcats or trucks. I usually connect with them one way or another.
So, when I revealed to my friends at my middle school about my car and everything, well, some were negative, some were supportive. You can't say they were all negative or all positive. Like, take my best friends for example. They're pretty positive about it, really encouraging. But then, there's the sixth graders. The sixth graders, they're kind of awful. No respect for the old cars. They're always talking about, like, New Day Chargers and stuff like that. But when I tell them there's really cool old cars out there, well, horrible news.
There's definitely a lack of appreciation for anything car related at my school. So whenever I talk about it, people listen, and there's been a lot of encouragement from teachers and friends and a lot of my family. So they always listen and they're always eager to learn. But yeah, definitely not a big car community at my school.
At least not yet, right? All right, so all of you are directly involved with a single project or multiple projects, and I'm guessing various stages. What's your individual preference in terms of when you're restoring or modifying? You keeping things stock, or are you making it changes or additions?
Well, I think a lot of the younger people prefer to change things up, make them more modern, more hot rodding. I mean, take that Mustang I did for an example. That's a supercharged Gen 1 Coyote swap. My Challenger's still a big block car, so I like the old school too. Still carbureted, not fuel injected, but I think a lot of people, this passion in this industry is going towards maybe not that nut and bolt restoration that is being judged here at this show, but more of the modifying, the custom work, the hot rodding. I think that part of the industry is really growing, and to me, that's what I enjoy, being able to do whatever you want. You can be creative, use your imagination, and just you can do whatever you want. So I think that's the coolest part.
So I love day 2 cars. I think OU cars most of the time are just kind of boring and big wheels are gay. But give me a set of Kragers or Super Tricks and I don't know, they just make a car.
So it depends on the car. For me, my 300, I'm trying to keep it mostly stock. I'm only going to put long tube headers on it and then just keep it maintained. That's all I'm doing with that car. My Barracuda at home, I'm building a 383 board and stroke to a 432 max wedge motor with a cross ram intake. And I'm keeping that, going to make it look factory, but it's going to be far from.
I'm not really sure what you guys mean by restoration. Still a little confused on that one. But no, in all seriousness, I still go by the motto, don't get it right, just get it running. You can throw a motor in something, tune it up, and just go take it out. I mean, you can slowly fix things. And you know what? As long as you like it, doesn't matter. I mean, I had an old guy come up to me today here at the show and tell me that they didn't like my truck because he didn't like how I built it. Well, I didn't build it for you guys' appreciation. I built it for myself. And I like what I've done with my life. So you know what? That's all I gotta say is you gotta build it how you want it.
What he said, what is a restoration? No, in all seriousness, me personally, I come from a drag racer family, so I can't leave anything stock. I mean, I have appreciation for numbers matching cars, this and that, but don't get me near a 70 Chevelle LS6 because I will rip that motor out, put a 598 big block in there, put nitrous on it. I said it last year and I'll say it again, all you need in life is 10-inch slicks, an MSD box, a nice carburetor, and a bottle of nitrous, and you'll be ready to go.
I don't come from a drag racer family. We don't really mod our cars, but I have a problem with tires. I'll like tires for a week and then I have to change it again. But my Mustang, it's it's all pretty much stock besides the tires.
I can appreciate cars that are stock and then people that modify their cars. For me, I'm gonna modify my car no matter what, but honestly, anyone that keeps their car stock could have all stock stuff. I mean, my body's stock, but my motor, that's a little modified. You got some money if you want to play though, so.
For me, I'm like 50-50. I like stock because that's what I've grown up with, but then I'm also leaning towards the day two, so I just leave what I think should be stock. Like I have the 70 Challenger TA, and it's a Survivor numbers matching, so I'm not really going to touch that, but then I have a 68 Roadrunner that I had like a blank slate to do with, so I just put some slicks on the back and gave it that day two look, and so that's what I'm really into. But if I come across a car that's numbers matching, I'm more than likely going to return it to stock. So for me, it's just stock or like do a little things here and there on it. Just don't go too wild.
So I kind of have a wide appreciation for just about anything, but what I like the day two stuff. The kind of 70s style is cool, and especially like metal flake paint is a big thing that I like. And then like pro touring handling stuff is another thing that I like. Just making cars that were not designed to corner good.
So I know that for some of our guests, they've already started a career in this field, but for the others, or for those that are still considering careers in the future, has the time spent at a hobby level wrenching with your vehicle and wrenching with family and friends, is that motivating you to want to seek out full-time employment after school to stay in the automotive space?
So I actually spent about a year working at a local hot rod shop. So that was a cool experience. And what I would like to do is open my own like car performance shop with a few of my cousins. We've kind of talked about doing that for a while now.
I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet. I have some ideas. I don't know. I kind of like engineering, but I think I would get bored with that. And cars, obviously, my biggest hobby. And I think something in the realm of that would be really cool to go into. I don't know, restoration or designing, or I'm not sure, but I think something with cars would be a lot of fun. And also, one last thing, going back to the last question, the only time H-wheels should be on an H12 are if it's in paint.
So for my automotive job, I would like to have my own restoration shop eventually, or possibly end up working in on a top fuel race team or some NHRA race team. I'm probably going to go to Wyotech or UNOH after high school and get my foot in the door in that business. In the summer, I work on the Ram Chargers race team, racing the Factory Stock Showdown program in NHRA. So I kind of got a little start there, and I love doing it. I wish I could do more to help that car out. I did spend a couple years working with Dave Dudek Muscle Cars in Detroit, helping him restore some cars, just wrenching around on little stuff, cleaning up the shop. I worked with his buddy Pat for a while. Current employment is at O'Reilly selling car parts to people, but the dream job is work on a race team, that's for sure.
I'll speak on this briefly because it's kind of going against your question a little bit, because I am seeking out my full-time position now. It's a little different. I'm in that weird transition phase right now where I work full-time as a tech at an independent repair shop. I went to school to work on new cars. I bought the Challenger, tore that apart, rebuilt it multiple times, made mistakes, realized this is what I want to do for a living. So I'm in that phase right now of building up my own restoration and repair shop out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. So that time's going to come where that transition happens full-time. I can't tell you when or how, but it's coming. Rally Restorations, just to give it a quick shout out, look it up on social media, but we're laying some groundwork to do something cool. So
It's really cool for me as a person who's looking at journalism to see like the automotive journalism side of things, hear all these amazing stories from people, new people, people I've seen before, retelling old stories, learning how to tell like the story of our Charger specifically. Like it's really fun to see how it could be written up, let's say, or in a magazine for me specifically.
I would definitely love to go into a career in that pathway. I would love to work on engines or welding. Anything with cars, man. I'm down.
So actually, I'll be the one to go ahead and burst you guys' bubble. I have no desire to go and own a restoration shop or anything like that. I've had plenty of guys who run those shops, have broke their backs. I mean, most of these guys can hardly move at 60 years old, worked on race teams their whole life. I have no desire to be that person. But I will say that cars, being in cars makes me want to get up every morning, go find my hardest, go get a job, and go get, make a good life for myself. Because I think me and Gary Sr. over there were talking about yesterday or today, money is what makes this happen, and having excess of it is what allows us to actually put this to it. So, you know what? I mean, I love cars, love working on them. I mean, shoot, I've been restoring a 72 Mercedes 300 SEL for a math teacher on the side. I do it at her house, been making it run for her. I mean, I like to do it, but you know what? It's not what I want to do for a career. I hate to say that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still a car guy.
So pretty much every job I've had, although I'm young, I've had a few jobs. My first job was at a classic car dealership. Started out as a porter, then was a media guy, and then ended up selling them. So I went from that, then started working at a few shops, worked at Billet Specialties for a little bit. So now I'm somewhat of a tech at a shop in a local suburb, and I feel like I have no choice but to do it now, because the tool bills are getting pretty hefty, and the tools got to go to use. I mean, the Snap-on truck is very tempting.
My dad has a restoration business, so whether I work for him or take it over in the future, I very, very likely could end up doing that as my career.
Yeah, I have no desire to ever work in a shop
as my career.
Yeah, I have no desire to ever work in a shop ever again. Right after high school this year, I got into the union, so I'm doing that. But I had 4 years auto through high school. I did welding, and I thought that's what I wanted to do, and I worked at a shop all through high school. And right after high school, I decided I got no motivation to even work on my own truck. I do this, and I said, yeah, that ain't gonna work out, so it's not the path I'd go on.
This is definitely a really big passion of mine. I love working on my truck, and I love welding and just all this stuff. But I think it'll definitely stay a hobby, as I also have no motivation to go work on my truck either.
And that's okay, right? I mean, sometimes that's what makes it the most fun, is keeping it as a hobby and having it be an outlet from the rest of life. And speaking of which, that leads to my final question before we open it up for our audience to throw some questions. There's been a lot of developments with new cars. Let's shift gears. The last couple of years, we've seen all kinds of things. As the next generation of drivers, does the future of autonomous cars excite you at all? Or is that the worst thing that could happen?
I think it's a bad thing, because I don't want flying cars or electric cars, because I said it last year and I'll say it again, you can't rev them. So, yeah.
So I see no future in electric cars whatsoever, or autonomous cars or anything. There's no soul behind them. It's just a giant refrigerator on wheels. There's no point behind them. They're actually worse for the environment if you actually look at the stats. They are worse. Not to mention the coal mines being used for the lithium batteries and everything like that. Lithium mines, coal mines, you name it. And they are worse on tires because they're heavier, they go through tires faster, so there's more rubber and the manufacturing process for more rubber. They have zero point in my eyes.
I can agree on a couple of those points for sure. Lithium mines and all of that, but I'll say this, I'll never own or drive an electric vehicle, but I do appreciate the technology and the advancements and all of that. Like, you see a lot of classics like, okay, Tesla swapping it. I don't know if I agree with that, but I appreciate the work that goes into it because it is a lot of work to make something like that happen. So I appreciate the technology, and I mean, we can't stay where we're at. I love my big blocks and poor gas mileage, but it's cool to see technology, and I'll just say that.
I don't think that, I will say, I think autonomous vehicles do have a place. They have a place to drive people who cannot drive themselves. You know who you are. Let's just go ahead and say it, you know who you are. But I think that that's about the only place. But I mean, even, with new cars, I don't like, all the sensors and things. I'll be honest with you, I daily drive a Toyota. My 4Runner is the stripped out model. I don't have any, anything but necessity on it, and that's how I like it. You don't need all the fancy stuff. I don't have half the sensors that people have, and you know what? I'm perfectly fine with it. You don't need all that stuff to drive.
So I think simplicity is like what's best. You see that like in older stuff. It's more simple, you have less failures. But I see the future is in like hybrid cars, like the Corvette E-Ray, for example, where you still have that gas power, but a little bit of electric assist to help. And like that helps like in the performance too, because now you have an all-wheel drive Corvette that can help pull you through turns and that kind of stuff.
So, as somebody who works at an auto repair shop and is there every single day, I work on a lot of new cars. I'm not a fan of working on new cars very much. It's very frustrating. There's panels underneath everything. But to go back to the question, I don't really support the autonomous cars and this and that. And I mean, just for example, a car came in the shop the other day. It was a Tesla. He had a tire light on. And we could not get the car in reverse. We couldn't walk in the car because facial recognition and this and that. So what should have been a 5-minute job turned into a 45-minute job. So that's my stance on it.
Personally, I'm not a fan of autonomous cars. I would never own one. I want to drive my car, not for my car to drive me. But as Jackson said, definitely some horrible drivers. Obviously, my Super B got hit. So maybe for some people, it could be a good alternative.
I'll maybe support them if they get cheaper. And headlights. We've had the hardest trouble with headlights lately. I like when old cars, you just plug them in and then they work.
I know there's a lot of people out there in the crowd that back then when they probably were kids and stuff, they would never thought there would be electric cars and stuff would be so hard to work on. Now, everything back then, you could probably teach your kid that and they could learn, but now with electric cars, you have a lot of scarce people that want to be mechanics in the future. It's almost it'll be non-existent if everything goes electric. So I think it's just, for a lot of people, after you start to think about it, it just becomes something a little crazy to everyone.
Like, I would say big no electric cars or flying ones. It just makes everything difficult because how hard do you think it would be to fly something that's supposed to move on wheels? That would be way more difficult than normal cars. Normal cars are normal to operate. A bunch of people nowadays know how to use those. It's just a whole new level of difficulty for people who normally drive normal cars. And electric ones could be possibly more dangerous because if there's a flood, if the car gets much water on it, it could just electrocute you. So.
All right, so we haven't figured out the future of transportation. But that's okay, we weren't going to today, but at least we have a flavor of where the next generation of drivers wants to head potentially with that. And as we wrap up, let's talk best car movie of all time.
We're both in agreement. Definitely the Disney movie Cars.
Christine, hands down.
I'm going to agree with Ida here on Christine being one of the top ones. The Snake and Mongoose is one of the greatest racing movies of all time. Heart Like a Wheel as well. Ford vs. Ferrari was a very good modern movie. American Graffiti, can't go wrong with it. Days of Confused is another really great movie.
Come on. 100% American Graffiti, hands down, greatest car movie of all time. Hollywood Nights, and that's only just for the glorious few seconds of Project X, baby, with the blower, just the greatest 57 Chevy ever made.
I think Grease is the best movie for the cars.
I'm kind of tied. Hot Rods to Hell, if you ever seen it, great movie, horrible acting. 60s movie, I think it was Dana Andrews or something like that. And then Hot Rod 1979, also known as Rebel of the Road, and then of course American Graffiti.
Everyone loves a good Challenger, right? Vanishing Point, good movie, maybe not the best, but come on, maybe I'm a little biased.
Personally, I think Smokey and the Bandit, I don't think you can go wrong with that. No one else would probably say that, but yeah.
I think I would have to revoke my 55 Chevy ownership if I did not say American Graffiti. Since I have a Challenger, I am going to have to say Vanishing Point, and it does take a Mopar to catch a Mopar.
I have to say American Graffiti 100% or two-lane blacktop.
I think we had all of them, although I didn't hear Bullet. Did we hear Bullet? Or
that's a good one.
I thought about it. All right, well, folks, that's all the questions I have. Do we have any questions from the audience for our panel? Yes, Bob. Oh, okay. Got it. The question was, who is the youngest participant? Do you mind revealing your age to the crowd?
I'm 9.
Who's the oldest? Any other questions? Oh. Who's the youngest female participant?
I'm 13.
Besides your own cars, what's your most favorite car out of the pool?
Yeah.
Can't pick your own car.
The question is, beside their own vehicles, what are some of the other favorites here at MCACN?
I'm gonna have to say the entire section of A990 cars over there. As a die-hard Mopar fan, I have to go with the A990s or the Metal Flake. I believe it's a Cuda over there. I don't remember if it was a Cuda or a Challenger. And then I have to go with the Dick Landy AFX, the pink convertible 1970 Roadrunner. A little biased, it's my grandpa's car, but it's not my car. But yeah, mainly the entire A990 section over there, or Paul Rossi's new factory stock showdown NHRA car.
So the Challenger from Vanishing Point is up there. I don't know if it's the exact movie car. Bob's saying it is. So that's one of them. Oh, it's not? A tribute, sorry. Tribute car, but that one's pretty cool. I like my muscle cars ratty though, so the barn find section, anything in there is pretty cool.
I'm kind of in love with the Nicky Performance 55 gasser over there. I saw it as a project last year, and to see it finished, I mean, that's like American Graffiti, two-lane blacktop, all those inspirations right there. It's beautiful.
I'd also like to add Steve Atwell's 67 GTX pace car on the red carpet, and Steve Atwell's BO29 Super Stock Barracuda.
I think I like the barn find, the 70s Mustang over there. I think it's pretty cool to like see it.
I'd have to agree with him that B70's Mustang is really neat.
I want to say my favorite car here, other than mine, is right over there. It's a 64 Dodge hardtop, which is my dream car. I'm a Chevy guy, but that is one Mopar that I would do anything for, so.
I'd have to say the entire fleet of Shelby Mustangs over there, or the ones next to the Spark trailer.
I gotta say, there's an orange 69 Yanko Camaro. Since my grandpa had a blue Yanko Camaro back then, I think that one's my favorite, and that jacked up square body over there.
Okay. I'd have to say probably one of the Hemi 69 Super Bs. Probably the B5 blue one. I would change the wheels on it, but it's still just a beautiful car. I don't know, there's a lot of nice cars here. There's a Hemi Cuda down there with some super tricks on it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough choice.
I got one more to add. I'm gonna have to go with Iden Ophelia's 68 Charger is one of my other favorites here.
So I am a sucker for 409s. So that whole section is probably one of my favorites. And if anybody wants to donate a 409 for my 55, I will gladly accept.
I'm a sucker for Hemis. Always liked the sound of them. Grew up with Hemis. So I'm gonna have to say the 70R code Hemi Cuda over there with metal flake. I heard it start up last night, moving it, and just the way it sounds, it's shaking you. That's something about that car. I just love it. So that's probably my favorite one.
Is that everyone? All right. Well, hey, I think this group is in the right place to share this incredible weekend with us. Let's give them a round of applause for sharing with us this evening. Thank you all, and I hope you've enjoyed this preview of, again, I think of what's in store for this great collector car and performance vehicle hobby. Of course, come up afterwards, chat with them more, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night here at MCACN. Thanks for coming out, guys. All right, hey everyone, and sorry for the delay there, but welcome to the 2 o'clock, yeah it is 2 o'clock, man, hard to believe the weekend's already over, seminar here at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, the Meet the Future seminar panel, opportunity to connect with the younger enthusiasts that are up and coming. My name is Matt Avery, I'm on camera talent for MCACN, and I really enjoy telling the stories about these incredible cars and of course the people behind them, and also connecting with the group of individuals up here on the stage that really do represent where this great hobby is going. All of the people up here on stage have some kind of connection or association with these vehicles, whether they're working or wrenching on one themselves or interested in pursuing a career with these great vehicles. So that's why we've put this together each year as an opportunity for them to kind of share their story and to share where their passion comes from. So to kick things off, we'll start off by having each of them introduce who they are and then their connection. Again, what vehicle or vehicles are you guys working on, or kind of what's your direct connection with these old great vehicles? So as we did yesterday, grab a mic and maybe just go down the road. That'd be awesome.
My name is Brian Myers. I'm 23 years old. I brought with me that bright yellow 1972 Dodge Challenger. That's my personal car. I was also able to bring with me the customers here, so thank you again for trusting me with your build. In front of that is a 1969 fastback Mustang, and that was, a full supercharged Gen 1 Coyote swap, and that's right in front of the Challenger over there, so that's what I brought.
Then I have the 55 Chevy. My name's Cale Kiefer, and that's what I've been working on for the past 7 years.
My name's Connor Ziola. I'm 9 years old, and I brought the 1981 Mini Corvette.
My name's Jack Ziola. I have a 1982 Mini Corvette and a 1989 Chevy Truck OBS, and I'm from Kansas City, Kansas.
Excuse me. My name is Jackson Barrett. I'm from North Carolina, 17 years old. I got the bright green 64 Chevy truck over there, short bed. I got a 91 Z28 Camaro street strip car at home and a 66 Chevrolet Biscayne with a big block.
Hi, my name is Dylan Strand. I brought my 1972 C10 I've been working on for the past 2 years.
My name's Anthony Stoll, and I brought my 70 Chevy Impala that I've had since I was 15, and at home I got a 78 Malibu and a 81 Cutlass Cruiser.
I'm Ophelia, this is my sister Ida. We brought our 1968 Dodge Charger.
I'm Caitlin Anderson, and I brought the orange patina 41 Ford Flathead.
My name is Gary Thomas. I brought a 67 Dodge C1000, and at the house I have a 70 Dodge Corvette Super Bee and 88 W150.
My name is Christoph Kozlowski. I brought my 2010 Chrysler 300 with me this year, and back at home I have a 1965 Plymouth Barracuda.
My name is Lance Hegedus. I brought my 1970 Dodge Challenger TA. Back at home I have a 68 Plymouth Roadrunner and a 78 D150.
My name is John Owen, and I brought a 1966 Mustang Coupe, and at home I have a 1958 Edsel Villager wagon.
My name's Adam McCraskey, and I brought my 78 Firebird.
Man, that's a incredible group of vehicles, and if you guys notice, it's a lot of the classic stuff. You know, they talk about younger generations gravitating towards the vehicles from more recent years, but this group definitely like those classics. So follow-up question to everyone, where's the passion come from? So we know what you're wrenching or driving on. How'd you get, you know, why that? Why not newer stuff?
Honestly, I started by getting into supercars and hypercars and modern stuff, but my dad and my brother were really into classics, and just being around that really brought me into it more. And originally I wanted a Mustang, but I couldn't find anything for cheap, so I got a Firebird, and I've been building it for about a year and a half now.
My dad has a restoration business, so I'm around it a lot, and just spend a lot of time in the shop and watch him do things.
My dad owns multiple Mopars, and he's been collecting over the years, and he just gave me a wrench when I was young and had him help him in the garage, so I've just loved it since I was young.
My grandpa used to street race a lot back in the 70s. He told my dad all his stories. My dad made his own stories of street racing in the 80s and 90s. And then he told me his stories. I'm making my own stories. My dad would take me to a lot of racetracks in the summer, take me drag racing, show me a lot of videos of like old school racing of a lot of the legendary cars you see over that way. And I would always just kind of gravitate towards old school, like old iron muscle.
My dad also has a large collection of Mopars, and just hanging out with him in the garage and at shows, driving the cars, and also watching car shows on TV, usually with my grandpa.
My dad's always been working in cars for as long as I can remember, and so he built his own rat rod when I was 10, and so that's what got me to want to build my own.
It was definitely my dad that got me into it. I always grew up around cars and helping him out with my tiny little hands get nuts and bolts that he couldn't reach, so it's always been something I've been around.
Well, my grandpa was always a car guy his whole life, and just kind of passed it down to my uncle and passed it down to me, and as a kid he always bought and sold cars, and I was just around it, and I just like being broke, so that's kind of why I'm a car guy, I guess.
I've always been around cars and trucks with my whole family, and my uncle, he had a C10, and since he had that, I always wanted one, so I got mine, and that's about it.
My whole family has, you know, all sorts of old classic cars. When I was a baby, used to ride around in a 67 Chevelle, 396, 375 horsepower. And my dad there, he had a 65 Chevy 2 with a built 385 that he built. And, you know, those memories just kind of stick with you over the years. And, you know, I think it just kind of made me gravitate toward those old Chevys.
My dad mostly took me to car shows with his 69 Mustang, and that's where mostly I got it from, and then he built me a go-kart, so I used to show with him a lot.
I grew up around...
There's also some of you that really do want to pursue this as full-time careers. Talk a little about kind of how wrenching on these classic cars has spurred that desire on.
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll start it off. Like I said before, I went to school to work on new cars, and be a tech. And I'm still a tech at an independent repair shop currently. But buying the Challenger and tearing that apart, making mistakes on it on my own stuff, and I've had that car apart dozens of times. And my parents here probably know I take up a lot of space in the barn right now. But doing that made me realize, yeah, this is what I want to do for a living. And I had a lot of people tell me, you know, keep it a hobby, keep it a passion. But I mean, if you're passionate about something, it's consumed my life. It's my lifestyle now. So I'm in the process of starting my own restoration and repair business out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. Just in the beginning stages, setting the foundation right now. But sooner or later, it'll be full time. But I'll do another plug here since the camera's rolling, but Rally Restorations, check it out online, and you'll see where the future brings.
I would like to make mine into a bit of a career. My first real job was working with Dave Dudek Muscle Cars. As some of you guys may know, he races in the FAST program. I helped him a lot on cleaning up the shop, putting parts together, putting engines together. My first job was putting a fuel filter on a 426 Hemi. But I also did some help with restoring cars, helping clean wheels and stuff on a couple other cars with Travelacci Restorations. He's neighbors with Dave. My current job is O'Reilly's, to selling parts to people, but my real dream job is either working on a top fuel team, being a racer, or possibly even a spokesperson for a top fuel team. Really, I just want to do something in the racing field.
So, like, you take most of the cars that are here today, they are not made to corner at all. And that's kind of what I like, is handling and straight line speed is kind of what I want to get into doing on cars, is improving that, whether it be old stuff or even more modern stuff. But yeah, since I'm not really into like the maintenance work or body work, I want to focus on like the performance aspect.
I'm not sure if I want to go into a career with cars or not. I mean, I love cars, and I think doing every day would be fun. At the same time, I have like a fear of kind of getting burnt out on it, and I don't want it to like ruin the hobby for me. I want to stick with cars. So maybe some kind of like engineering or something as a job, and be able to just be successful, fund the cars, and maybe do some restorations or something on the side as well.
A wise man once told me, you can't make a life out of racing. This wise man also did make a life out of racing for the past 25 years and now has to have back surgery soon because he can no longer function as he used to, being able to bend over cars for so long. So I've kind of taken his advice and the advice of other people who told me over the years, hey, let's not do this. Let's, not be that person, I don't want to just work on cars my whole life. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love working on my own stuff, but I mean, there's other things that I'd love to do in my life that I'd love to make a career out of. Cars are the reason I get up in the morning and I go out to get a good job to make the money, but I ain't feeling like breaking myself, just to make ends meet.
I like to keep working on cars more of as a hobby. I worked inside a shop all through high school, and I don't know, after working on other people's cars and stuff and seeing just how hard it is, I like working on my classic cars more at home. I mean, I have toolboxes at home, I have everything I have at home and everything to build something I want at home, but working on other people's stuff just sucks unless it's one of your friends or something, and I think it's just better to keep it as a hobby, and I feel like you have more motivation in your build once you're working on just your own build and nobody else's.
All right, well, let's shift gears. Obviously, inspiration to want to get involved with these cars not only comes from attending events like this and hanging out with passionate family members, but of course, pop culture. So let's settle it now. Best car movie.
Fast and Furious. Let's go. Tokyo Drift.
Mine would have to be American Graffiti.
I'd have to say probably American Graffiti 100%, or Gone in 60 Seconds, the original one. I just watched that this summer.
Probably Grease.
I got a couple different ones. Corvette Summer, American Graffiti, Two Lane Blacktop, Gone in 60 Seconds, the original, Bullet, Christine, The Wraith, just to name a few.
Took them all, Christoph, dang. Hands down, American Graffiti. Honorable mentions, though, definitely got to say Smokey and the Bandit. And yeah, thank you, Smokey and the Bandit, the Trans Am. And probably, I'd say Hollywood Nights. It doesn't give as much love as people need to give it, okay?
Yeah, all those definitely. I remember I was like 12 years old and my dad snuck me into like a re-showing of American Graffiti. He was like, just look tall, it'll be fine. And we got in and I watched it and loved it. It was amazing.
I'm gonna say almost what Country Thunder next to me said. Smokey and the Bandit, Dukes of the Hazzard, and Gone in 60 Seconds.
I said it yesterday. My two favorite car movies are movies that most people never heard of: Hot Rods to Hell with Dana Andrews, and a movie called Hot Rod from 1979, which was like a TV movie special, and then American Graffiti.
I'm gonna have to say mine's Vanishing Point, and then Dukes of Hazzard. I just grew up watching that. I know it's not a movie, but one of my favorite TV shows.
Yeah, I can't pick a movie either, so I'm gonna also have to agree with Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, I grew up watching that with my brother almost every single night. We've got them all on disc.
Come on, everybody. We all know it's Pixar Cars. Lightning McQueen. Exactly, first one. Just forget about the second one. It never happened. Never happened.
Speaking of favorite things, let's also talk a little bit about maybe what's here on site. So in addition to your own vehicle, if you have one here, what have been some of the favorite vehicles that you've seen here at MCACN?
I believe yesterday I said the Vanishing Point tribute car, and that still is up there, but there's a Daytona, I believe, on the back wall here that I saw it moving on Thursday, and I'm like, okay, who's steering this thing? It's a right-hand drive Daytona. Never seen something like that before. I think it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to go with all the A990 cars over there. Can't pick just one. The Dick Landy car for sure. The crazy painted Cuda over there. And I'm gonna have to go with Steve Atwell's two cars here. His BO29 Superstock Cuda in the barn finds, and his GTX pace car.
To choose just one is very difficult for me, but I really like weird color combinations, and there's a W30 Oldsmobile just over there actually, that's green with green stripes, and that's one of the cooler combinations I've seen.
I'm a truck guy, so I gotta say the 59 Chevrolet Apache over there, the Fleet Line, the bright red, or probably that jacked up square body back there, that K10 that's orange up back there. I mean, is it K20? Oh, K20, you know, thank you. But I think the only thing the K20 does need is the old chrome roll bar with the old daylighters on top.
Today I was able to jump into Shelby Hall's big truck. It was a tight fit. I think I pulled something climbing in and out of there, but it was a great experience, and she's such a great role model. It was really, really fun.
I gotta say that square body back there, that black Trans Am, or that 69 Yanko Camaro with orange with white strips.
I probably gotta say Boss 24. Boss 429.
If I had to pick one, shoot, I don't know. That's a tough choice, but there's two Hemi 69 Super Bs. There's a black one and a B5 blue one over here. Those cars are beautiful. And I'm also a big fan of the Rod Hall trucks and the two Hemi Cuda drag cars. And also all the other cars here too. Just everything's amazing.
I really like most of the 80s Corvettes.
My favorite cars that aren't mine, this black 64 Dodge hardtop right there, gorgeous car, my other dream car. And then in the barn find sections, there's a 67 Camaro Z28. That one is gorgeous. I mean, toe tabs, tow bar, day 2, just beautiful car, done perfectly.
Jackson mentioned the red Apache, and that's probably my favorite one here too. So.
I like any of the 68, 69, 70 Chargers here, but I think my favorite got to be the white 250 GTO on display over there.
Any in the row of the 66 Shelbys, or I just walked over there today in the barn find section. There's a 1965 Shelby there.
I'm a big fan of the E-bodies, especially the 70 Cudas. So I'm gonna have to say there's a black 70 Hemi Cuda in the Hemi display. That's one of my favorites. And then there's also 70 Hemi Cuda right when you walk in towards the back behind the B-body convertibles. That has a crazy paint scheme, and I'm gonna have to say that one too.
All right, well, man, there's a lot of passion up here, and it's exciting to kind of see where the next generation is at in terms of their love for these events that us older generations have enjoyed for many years. And as we wind things down, I'll turn it open to the crowd. If anyone in the audience has a question for our panel, anyone have anything they want to ask them? Of course, you can find them after this. Let's give them a big round of applause for hanging out and chatting with us. And I want to mention that this Future Generations Invitational has been supported and has some great donations. We have some of the sponsors up here. One of them is Dan Stoll with Stoll Racing. Dan, you want to come up and say a couple words about what we're doing here?
Okay, so I wasn't ready for this. Bob was going to help me do this. Okay, but this is kind of a passion of mine. These younger kids have a hard time buying cars. They don't have the money. Their friends, a lot of their friends aren't doing this. So last year I was a judge here, and they asked me to be a judge again this year, and I said no, I didn't want to do that. I said I have something in my mind that I want to do. I want to help these kids out. So I went to shops and people that I know, okay, and asked for donations to help these kids. We did a little bit last year on it when we were here, but I went a little further this year. So I went to these shops, Kroll Speedworks in Chicago, High Performance Transmissions, the Hearst Garage. These guys are actually here, and Affordable Towing. And actually, Joe from Affordable Towing is right over there. Raise your hand. Thanks, Joe. You're the best. So Joe has a mechanic shop, a repair shop. He also has his hand in everything else. Muscle cars. He's got a lot of muscle cars. Pontiacs is what he likes. So Joe, I found him because I bought a car and it needed head gaskets on it. And it was a North Star. And so I was referred to Joe. Joe did 2 of my North Stars already. And Joe contributed to what we're doing with these guys here. And Joe, you became a friend of mine. I just want to tell you thank you. Can you give everyone a clap for Joe? Thank you. Thank you. So what we did is this horsepower depot, he was here last year. They race like street-looking cars. I asked him last year at the show if he'd like to help out, and so he sent his t-shirts here. So everyone's going to get a t-shirt from him. Also, everyone with a street car, a car that drives, okay, that came in here, is going to get a Craftsman tool kit, a whole tool kit. You guys are all going to get one of those. And then there are some other t-shirts and some other key fobs and stuff like that that is thrown in there that we're going to give out also. So what we're going to do, that's one of the toolkits. Just hang on, don't bring any more out, please. What we're going to do is we're going to give them to everyone, but I think one person is getting a welder, and we don't know who that is because that's the sponsor of this class. We're not sure who that is, so the toolkits are all here. We'll bring them over by you when we know who's getting the welder, okay? But like I said, I know that it's hard to do this kind of stuff. I've been doing it my whole life. my grandson Anthony. Big part of my life. And I appreciate everything he does. Sorry about that. All right, sorry for getting emotional. Sorry about that. It means a lot to me, this does. And you guys are all great, okay? I just want to tell you what you're doing. Keep on doing it. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan, and also, again, thanks to all these sponsors for really investing in and supporting these kids. And thank you all for being a part of it, and thank you all for coming out and hearing, and enjoy the rest of your day here at MCACN.
donating this to the cause. I had so much trouble deciding who should be the recipient because everybody was was worthy of it. So I asked our winners from last year to help me out, and I'm going to let them tell us who's going to go home with a full Miller welding set. Oh, and that was the other thing. We asked the previous year's winner to create a special award to present to the new winner. So I'm going to hand you to the mic.
All right, all right, all right. Our winner is Jackson.
Woo. So just real quick, Jackson, tell us what you have.
So I have the 1964 Chevrolet C10, the bright green Slam truck over there. It's been my truck since I was 9 years old. It was a 7-year rebuild with my dad, and we just recently got it on the road here in June, and we've been putting as many miles on it as we can.
Let's give a hand to our future.
Alrighty, we've been back from Chicago for about a week now, but I'm just finally getting around to making the outro to this video. Chicago was an amazing time. If you have never been to the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals, you need to make that a trip, okay? That needs to be on your list, because that is a amazing show right there. Let me tell you what, okay? Great time, great people. I love getting to hang out with the future generation every year. These guys are awesome. I put their cars in the videos. They're just awesome people to hang out with. You know, amazing time. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the segments that we did over there with our Q&A session with Matt Avery. But overall, I had an amazing time. The C10 came home with some hardware. First off, we won an award for being in the future generation, so we got an award for that. We got the Joe Zolper Celebrity Pick Award. I think that was pretty cool, mostly because we had no idea who Joe Zolper was. I had seen Garage Squad, and I'm like, this dude kind of looks familiar, but not really. And then, you know, we're just like BSing with him, you know, just talking about cars and talking about the truck. And then all of a sudden he goes, yeah, you have my celebrity pick. And I'm like, what? Seriously? That's awesome. So, and then we also walked away with the Shining Star Award, which is given out by Level 1 Restoration, our main sponsor of the group. It's given to a few select kids who stand out more than the others in terms of, you know, commitment to their projects, you know, the amount of work they've done to them, stuff like that. They say that it's supposed to be someone who shows great commitment to the hot rodding community. So we ended up with that, and I won the Future Fabricator Award this year. So for 2025, I am your Future Fabricator by MCACN. So I think that was really cool, personally. But overall, I'm just really excited to, you know, be back. But I had a great time at the show. Love getting to talk to all you guys. Thank you to the fans that came by, talk to us about the truck. It was a great time. The truck is not here. She's at the interior shop. I do have sad news. The C10 was damaged in transport. One of the bags deflated, and it shut the door into the wheel well of the trailer, and it sat there and grinded the paint off for about 45 minutes one day because we hit some rough roads in West Virginia. So if anyone has some tips on how to color match, drop them in the comments, please. Let me know, because I need a lot of help on that. But yeah, you know what? I love that other people enjoyed the truck that me and my dad built in this garage right here. You know, it was awesome to get to meet people, to get to see their reactions to the truck, because that was really the first show that the truck's ever been at. So I'm really excited. I hate that I didn't film more cars there because there was some insane stuff. Crazy high dollar builds, crazy high dollar restorations. You know, they had a Ferrari in there that they say is going to go for $70 million at MCACN coming up. So keep an eye out for that one. It's a 62 GTO 250, I think is what it's called. It's an old race car. But yeah, you know what? It was an amazing time. I had a great time. My family had a great time. And you know what? Thank y'all for coming out. Thank you for supporting the channel. Just continue to do so. And, you know, drop a comment. Hit that subscribe button, you know. Let me know what's going on. You let me know about your guys' projects, you know what? And, you know what? Thank you for watching. I had a great time. And I just thank you guys so very much. So, this is Lucky Jack Racing. And I'll see you next time.